What if Dark Messiah of Might and Magic got a modern, physics-heavy reboot? From the devs who worked on Titan Quest 2, that's basically the pitch for FateKeeper, and it looks seriously promising. Hey everyone, this is Korean from Middle Age Gaming. Today we're looking at FateKeeper, an upcoming first-person action RPG from Paraglacial, published by THQ Nordic. It's a handcrafted fantasy world full of ancient ruins and forgotten cataclysms, with you playing a druid-style warrior who mixes melee combat and magic to smack, shove, and slice your way through enemies. If you're into games like Dark Messiah of Might and Magic and Skyrim, or anything where first-person combat actually feels weighty, FateKeeper is the one you should definitely have on your radar. You can drop in a quick unsubscribe if you have time. If you enjoy deep dives into upcoming RPGs, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps the channel. Let's start with the world. FateKeeper isn't trying to be a massive open-world checklist game. The devs describe it as a handcrafted world with a focused narrative path. But it's still full of side paths and secrets. You move through places like ancient battlegrounds, vast underground caverns, serene forests, crumbling sanctuaries that feel properly old and forgotten. The idea is curiosity pays off. Explore the corners and you'll find hidden lore, relics, and weird encounters instead of copy-pasted filler. So this is very much like Avowed or Outer Worlds 2 or anything like made from Obsidian, in the sense of, I remember when Avowed first came out and people were like, yeah, this is more of a linear game, and that's true, but there are places where if you explored in Avowed and you jumped and you climbed and you pressed this hidden button, you'd find some really cool gear or different excerpts of lore, and I love this aspect, especially as an older gamer where I don't want to spend lots of hours exploring because I want to finish this game and move on to the next one. The real hook of FateKeeper, though, is the combat. This isn't just bonk with the sword until health bar empty. Gameplay previews and the Steam description emphasizes reactive melee, precise spellcasting, and physics-driven hits. You're shoving orc-like enemies off ledges, using gusts of wind to knock crowds over, throwing barrels and objects to stagger enemies, and then following with brutal finishes, dismemberment, and slow-mo kills. It's very much Dark Messiah vibes, and for those of you who are a bit younger, Dark Messiah was an older first-person game that was absolutely different when it first released, and FateKeeper is like the same satisfaction of using the environment to win fights, not just your stats. Enemies ragdoll hard, limbs fly, and it looks like the game really wants you to be creative with positioning and space. Personally, I've really missed this kind of first-person physics combat, so seeing a modern take on it is super exciting. On the RPG side, FateKeeper leans into build variety. Official info talks about rich progression you can push into raw strength for heavy melee, nimble precision for faster, more agile play, or devastating sorcery if you want to lean into spells. Your build actually matters, and you actually see this in the trailer, but the devs stress that it's not just numbers, it's about how you play your build. So if you spec into magic but just spam one spell badly, you're going to have a rough time. From what we've seen so far, there's a nice mix of reactive melee combos, element or wind-based spells, and tools that push, pull, or control space, which feeds back into that physics-heavy combat. Story-wise, you play as a newly appointed FateKeeper, basically someone responsible for maintaining the balance after a huge ancient conflict between two worlds. The details are still a bit vague, but the tone leans dark fantasy with lots of ruined fortresses, strange creatures, and echoes of past disasters. It's not a gigantic open-world epic, so don't expect a Baldur's Gate 3 size narrative. Think more along the lines of linear-ish campaign with room to explore and experiment along the way. So who is this for? I think it's going to hit hardest if you love Dark Messiah, Ox Fatalis. You want a first-person combat that's more than just blocking and swinging. You enjoy experimenting with both strength, agility, or full mage. We prefer a focused, handcrafted world instead of 200 hours of open-world bloat. So right now, FateKeeper is coming to PC via Steam with an early access launch planned for winter of 2025, which is pretty much now. So hopefully we'll get it before the end of the year. This might shift because game dev, but that's the current target. If it looks interesting to you, jump over to Steam and add it to your wishlist. That actually does a lot for discoverability, especially for non-AAA games. So that's FateKeeper, looking awesome. The rat in the beginning of the trailer really freaks me out a little bit. I do not like rats or mice or gerbils or anything like that. But still, I love the look of the game. I love the look of the graphics. I'm excited for this. If you are too, make sure to follow Middle Age Gaming for more, and we'll see you in the next one.